Okay, calculus friends, we are starting the antiderivative. We've been doing derivatives, and hopefully you did a lot of practice on those. Now we're going to do the antiderivatives. The antiderivatives are kind of like going backwards. Okay, so basically I give you the derivative, and you have to find the function for me. So before we do that, let's just practice some simple derivatives to see if we can see any sort of pattern or anything. So the first one here, find the derivative of x squared. That's easy. Remember, we break the 2 down here, x, and then the exponent is decreased by 1. So if I had to go the other direction, my exponent would have to increase by 1. So, yeah. All right, so now x to the third. So the derivative is 3x squared, right? Notice the derivative is always down by 1, the exponent. So if I was going to do the antiderivative, if I was going to go this way, I would notice I increase the exponent by 1. So a lot of guessing and checking is going to happen at the beginning. The derivative of 5x squared, remember it's 2 times 5, so 10x to the 1. So the question is, can you go from 10x to the 1 to 5x squared when we find the antiderivative? That's the hard part, okay? I think once you get it, it'll be easy, but until you get it, it'll be kind of tricky. So this one, 6x to the 7th, we're going to go 7 times 6 is 42, and then x to the 7 minus 1 is 6. All right, and then some hard ones, just to remind ourselves, what's the derivative of sine? The derivative of sine is cosine x. So if you had to go the other direction, that's not too bad as long as you remember. And then the derivative of e to the x, now this is the easiest one, is just e to the x. So that's super easy, unless you've got a coefficient in front of that x at the top. But we're not going to do that today. All right, so what is the antiderivative? And it's finding the function given the derivative is kind of what it is. It's going backwards. So for some of us, that's easy. For others of us, that is not so easy. So if this is the derivative, what's the function? What's the antiderivative? If that's the derivative, I have to go backwards. Well, I know for sure that when I have x to the 4th, the function is 1 higher than that. So that's where I'm going to start. I'm going to start with x to the 5th. Okay, so now if I were taking the derivative of this that I've just started, if I were taking the derivative of that, I would put the 5 in the front and decrease by 1. And like, oh, look, I already have a 5 in the front. So I think that's the derivative. I mean, that's the antiderivative. And you're like, yep, because if you took the derivative, you'd end up with this. All right. So now here also, if this is the derivative, what's the antiderivative, or what's the function? And so again, I look at the x squared. I know it has to be x to the 3rd. So if I were taking the derivative of this, I would do 3x squared, which is what this is, so I don't have to have anything else. So it's just x to the 3rd. Does that kind of sort of make sense? Yeah, I think it's just going to take a lot of practice. All right, there are some rules written in your book on page 282. I took a picture and stuck those in. Those might be helpful. They're a little confusing, but they might be helpful. So I want you to practice some, see what you can do. Do some of the odds on page 287. Okay, so page 287, try some of the odds at the beginning. You know, like 1 through, I don't know, 1 through 5. See if you can do any of those. They're multiple parts. So we'll try those. The next video I'll make, I'll do some of those odds with you. So good luck. Start thinking backwards, which to me is the hard part. Anyway, good luck. Talk to you later.